Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Shadow Stitch, your coach of the Charlotte Chandelures, and today we are going to be doing our week 2 of the CBN, where we're going to be taking on Zara Scotty and the Indiana Ogerpon. So you'd see my team on the left, you see their team on the right, and what I'm bringing right in front of you. So if that's all you want to know, feel free to skip right ahead to the battle. But if you want to know what I'm bringing and why I'm bringing it, stick around. So yeah. So starting things off, we have, of course, the really powerful combo of Rayquaza and Chien Pao. So we don't need to worry about any Intimidates this week, so we can just go straight for big damage with Life Orb. Airlock is great to shut off their weather, so we don't have to worry about the Excadrill outspeeding us and Sand Rush nonsense and stuff like that. We could just fire off big earthquakes into that, and as long as it's not a Jolly Excadrill, we will actually still outspeed it, so that's pretty good. Extreme Speed and Dragon's Ascent, just filling out the rest of the moveset, just doing big damage. And of course, Tyranitar, I could definitely see that going for like maybe a Terra Flying. That's a pretty common one, but if you do that in the face of my Chien Pao, then you got some problems, because you could be taking a pretty hefty Ice Spinner. So Terra Ghost, pretty standard. We don't have to worry about any fighting type moves going into that and stuff like that. I'm honestly not really expecting to need the Terra Ghost too much, and with the Focus Sash paired next to our Airlock Rayquaza, we don't even have to worry about that getting broke by the sand. Crunch is just obviously going to be a very powerful secondary stab, and Sucker Punch is still going to be useful just for some priority for the very few things that might outspeed us, or if we end up having to fight in Trick Room, which of course is going to be Lunala's terrain, excuse me. So yeah, Lunala's looking pretty good here as our go-to Trick Room setter. Moongeist Beam and Moonblast, pretty standard offense options right there with Protect. I'm going with a Colbur Berry as opposed to like a Kasib. I'm a little bit more concerned about dark type moves coming from like the Tyranitar, Excadrill, Ogerpon, Iron Valiant and stuff like that, more so than I am the ghost type moves. However, as long as our Shadow Shield is intact, we can pretty much live any hit, no matter what anyway, and set up that Trick Room for, of course, our Ursaluna. So pretty standard offensive Ursaluna right here. We're running a ton of bulk. Of course, we're running under Trick Room, so no speed needed here. Just can dump it all into bulk and attack. Earthquake, Facade, Crunch, and Protect. We're going Terra Dragon because it actually gives me some really good resistances, like to Fire, Grass from the Ogerpon and the like, and it doesn't really double up on any other common typings and stuff like that I would expect. So that's pretty dang good. So Ursaluna looking really strong here under a potential Trick Room, but also Hitmontop is looking great to be able to set up that Trick Room and pair right next to it. So we got Close Combat just for good damage, Fake Out for standard stuff. Thief, we can potentially steal some items if our Citrus Berry gets procced, but it's also potentially powered up by our Terra Dark, so we can hit really hard into something like that Necrozma Dawnwings for 4 times weak damage. And also it means that they can't hit me with Psychic type moves, so they kind of have to read that option if I'm going to Terra Dark. Gonna Photon Geyser, or are you gonna like Meteor Beam or something? Like, I don't know. I actually don't know if Necrozma gets Moonblast and Dazzling Gleam and stuff. I don't think it does. Yeah, there's that. But yeah, Wide Guard is good for spread moves, but also I can pair it next to Ursaluna and not get hit by my own Earthquake, so that's pretty good. And then last but not least is going to be the new addition, Rabsca. So I ended up dropping Uxie for Rabsca, so they were about the same points, and I was just like, why not? This actually kind of seems like it can do even more, a little more than Uxie. Of course, it's going to be like our secondary Trick Room setter. It can still pair next to Ursaluna with Telepathy, not have to worry about getting hurt by the Earthquake. Bug Buzz does some decent damage to some things like, the Sceptile or the Exeggutor. Rain Dance can disrupt the sand, so that's pretty good. And then Revival Blessing can just, bring something back from the dead. So that's just really cool. Also, Rapska in general just has a couple other really cool options, like Gravity and stuff like that. So no promises I'm going to use it a whole bunch this season, but I thought it was just a better option than Uxie, and so pretty cool that we're at least seeing it on a team already. So overall, though, that is going to be my team for this week. I think we have a lot of really strong options right here, and I'm really liking team building with this team so far. So anyway, that's going to be it. So let's go ahead and get into the battle. Alright, so here we go. We got the Excadrill Tyranitar combo like I thought. Ho-Oh and freaking Necrozma, Ogerpon, and the Iron Valiant. That's what that thing's called. So, of course. So, yeah. So we know one of their terrors right off bat. Looks like they're still tightening it up, which is all good. So, we have a pretty scary lead off right here so far. So, let's see. Excadrill, Terra Ground, T-Tar Flying, pretty normal. Iron Valiant, Ghost, Ogerpon, Rock, of course. So, alright. Very cool. So, I don't hate just going right off rip with the fucking, like, Hitmontop Rapska combo. Set up the, the Trick Room. Do they have good ways to stop that, though? I could just lead the Rayquaza Jianbao combo. Yeah, let's just try that. With Ursaluna and Lunala in the back. Yeah, let's just lead off with the fast offense first. If they choose to lead off with, like, the Tyranitar stuff, then, good for them. And we can kind of go from there. Let's go. Excadrill Tyranitar, that's great. We don't have to worry about speed at all. So that's awesome. Sword of Ruin lowers all the speeds and stuff. Sandstream's going to come up. Now, if this is a freaking adamant, if this is a Jolly Excadrill, excuse me, then we don't have to worry about, then it will outspeed us. But if it's not, we should outspeed this thing, just kill it with a freaking Life Orb Earthquake, which it looks like we will be able to do. Tyranitar probably lives. Ooh, Excadrill lives. Is that Sash? Oh, there's a crit. Okay, it is Sash Drill. I guess that makes sense. That Tyranitar definitely probably lived that, though, not gonna lie. But, so, sorry about that, but, yeah, what you gonna do, right? So, yeah. Ogerpon makes an appearance, okay. So, I kind of don't hate just going for a Protect and then just an Ice Spinner into the Ogerpon. I think that's probably fine. I feel like they're definitely going to try to target the Rayquaza here. Does look like I'm expecting this to be the Ogerpon right here. Yeah, okay, so that's definitely going to be the Ogerpon. I at least will get a massive hit onto the freaking Ogerpon. So, Embody Aspect is going to boost defense, which is to be expected. I am going to protect that. Ice Spinner, this is still going to do a decent amount. Yeah, it does about half. And as long as he doesn't... okay, so Ivy Cudgel, awesome, didn't double up. Ironhead, I live with the Sash. That's perfectly fine. Very cool. And, honestly... So... I honestly don't hate just going for extreme speed and Ice Spinner again. Spiky Shield, that's fine. I'm still getting a KO here, and I can send in something that matches up better into this Ogerpon. So I'm actually pretty okay with that for the most part. So Rayquaza does lose that, so Ice Spinner is going to go into that. I get knocked out by the Spiky Shield damage. That's okay. Chien-Pao did a great job. Chien-Pao did its job fantastically. I definitely feel like Lunala is a fine switch in right here. If he has something fast in the back, then that means that okay, so it is the Necrozma, which should be fine. So the only thing that can really stop me is a double up from setting up this Trick Room. Ivy Cudgel probably going into the Rayquaza, if I had to guess. Probably just knocking out the Rayquaza, which it does. That's okay. And unless this is like Specs or something like that, this should not kill me. And it doesn't. Okay. Yep. Lunala is fucking ridiculously bulky. Yep. Alright, and yeah, so now we can go into the bear. The big old bear. And the big old bear does have Crunch. I am going to probably Terra Dragon here, just in case he tries to go for a Power Whip. Because it is still very possible that I can lose this. So I'm going to actually just go for a Moongeist Beam into the Ogerpon right here. I'm probably still faster than this this Necrozma. So I'm going to get that Terra Dragon off just in case we see a Power Whip coming into me and, you know, he kills me and stuff like that. I don't think that it's going to work out that way, but you never know, I guess. Spiky Shield, that's okay. And I get the Crunch off. Necrozma does live. That Pokemon is fucking insane. Meteor Beam is going to come off. That's actually okay. I'm perfectly fine with that because now I can go for a freaking Earthquake. So I have to assume that this is going into the Lunala to knock it out. It does. Yes. Okay. So now I have full Trick Room set up. I got my Guts boost activated. And I can just go to town with freaking Earthquake now. Everything's kind of weakened, and that is okay. So we learned some good stuff, though. We learned that our Lunala is still definitely slower. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, so we can just click Earthquake. This should be the game. I cannot imagine that Ogerpon lives this even with the defense boost. It does not. Ursaluna, go burr. Okay. Very nice. Ogerpon goes down, and there. So Ursaluna mops up and cleans up strong in the end game right there. And very cool. So, oh, excuse me. I definitely think I caught him off guard with the airlock kind of stuff. I'm probably not going to be able to catch him off guard again like that. So I definitely think that we need to readjust this, readjust our lead. So I think so. I do really like the Trick Room mode, and I think because my freaking fast lead went so well, he's going to counter lead that, which means that I should be able to start, you know, Trick Room, go just full Trick Room mode. I do think that maybe going Chien-Pao is still good. Or maybe Rayquaza. Just for priority. Yeah, I actually kind of like Rayquaza over Chien-Pao right here. I have the advantage right here. I do think that Trick Room mode is going to be the way to go for this game too. I definitely think that we might see something like maybe Ogerpon, Ogerpon something else maybe. Could be kind of an interesting lead, but we shall see. So let's get it. So should have a relatively easy Trick Room set up right here, hopefully. Let's see what we got. So Iron Valiant Ho-Oh, definitely exactly what I expected. We get to see the Hitmontop Lunala lead. Probably seeing a booster energy on the Valiant if I had to guess. Get Intimidate down. Clearing Amulet on Ho-Oh. Okay, that's kind of what I expected. That's okay. Booster energy on Val. Probably Speed. Yep, Speed. Alright. And I think I'm fine just kind of going for Fake Out and Trick Room right here. Yeah, I think I'm fine with that. Quick Guard. Interesting. But what does that do? You can't, like, imprison Trick Room me. Ho-Oh doesn't get Taunt. Sacred Fire, I mean, it's not going to do too much damage. Burn is definitely really annoying. I can't deny that. Trick Room is going to come up. Okay, what was the Val? Val was Ghost. Okay, so definitely don't think that we're going to see a Ghost Terra here. But, I mean, I guess you never know, right? I kind of don't hate just hard swapping into Rayquaza and then Moongeist beaming the Val, maybe. I feel like Val probably still dies, right? Yeah, so Hitmontop is just going to make the switch. I'm going to go into Rayquaza. Airlock's going to come out and just do its thing. We're going to see a Terra. That's going to be the Val, and that's going to be Ghost, which is cool, because that means that I just get to wipe that thing off the map with a Moongeist Beam. And that's really nice, so very cool. Brave Bird's going to come in. That's not going to knock out my Lunala, not a chance. And a Moongeist Beam is going to just obliterate that friggin' Iron Valiant. Nice. So basically now it's just down to, hey, get my freaking, get my bear onto the field, right? He can't really, like, reverse Trick Room with his Necrozma, because he'll eat a double up. Ogerpon comes out, that's okay. I'm very cool with that. I'm going to Dragon Ascent into Ho-Oh, and honestly just Moongeist Beam the Ogerpon as well. Ho-Oh has very high special defense, so I don't want to deal with that nonsense. If he chooses to go for, like, maybe a Follow Me or something like that. Spiky Shield, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. He's probably going to be knocking out Lunala here, if I had to guess. Okay, nope, going for Rayquaza. Does not get the burn. That's actually fantastic for us. And we get a massive Dragon Ascent off onto this Ho-Oh right here for huge damage, probably. Boom! Oh, wow, I did not actually expect that to one-shot, but hey, Rayquaza goes crazy. Definitely got lucky there dodging the 50-50 on the burn, but hey, what you gonna do, right? Alright, so next turn, I think I actually just will go for an Earthquake. Just to get my Lunala off the field. I can go for a Moongeist Beam into Necrozma. Alright, so yeah, we will go for an Earthquake and Moongeist Beam into Necrozma. Follow me. That's fine. That's fine. Goes for the Meteor Beam. Okay. Is that going into Rayquaza or Lunala? Okay, that's great. I'm cool with that. That's a fine play. Because now we can get into our Ursaluna with a couple turns left. Earthquake is going to come out. That's still going to do really solid damage. And then, yeah, we can get Ursaluna out. I think we only got, like, 1 turn of Trick Room left. Maybe 2. I think 1, if I've been counting right. So, check status. Yes, 1 turn of Trick Room left. If he does have Protect, then he's on the, Necrozma. He's definitely going to show it here. So, we have to watch out for that, but it's probably going to be... Okay, no Spiky Shield. That's cool. And a Dragon Ascent into the Ogerpon. Nice. GG. So, definitely could have been scary if he got the burn on the Ho-Oh, but, you know, it is what it is. And there we go. Freaking huge freaking adjustments right there. Nice, easy 2-0, relatively. And, yeah, definitely made it back from last week. So, GG to... Zera, I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm sorry if it's not. So, but GG to you. That was a good game, and yeah, I think we played a lot better than we did last week. So yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Like, comment, sub, all that fun stuff. I love you all. Deuces.